G'day hammerheads! I have just spilt mustard all over the bloody bench today because we are looking at two of DeWalt's biggest SDS Plus hammers, the DCH333 and the DCH263. Now before we get stuck in, the wallaby-eyed amongst you may have noticed that my tools say 18 volts and 54 volts. That is just what they're called in Australia and probably a few other places too. For whatever reason, DeWalt chose not to, or maybe wasn't allowed to advertise 20 volts and 60 volts, even though 18 and 15 doesn't sound nearly as good. Alright, so DCH263, we have seen this guy a bit before on the channel, and I gotta say, it is a favourite of mine. It's possibly DeWalt's best overall rotary hammer. It's relatively cheap, it's very powerful, vibration control, light, you can fit a dust extractor, nice wobbly handle. I really like this shape of chuck release because you can sort of grab it one-handed. And of course it's a 3-mode, not that you can see the symbols, but drill only, hammer drill, and hammer only. All in this nice long D-handle shape, so nice and comfy for drilling downwards or anywhere where you got to reach a little further. And being Australian, I like giving things nicknames, so this guy is called the Big Banana around here. Now the 333, this is the smallest of the flex fault hammers, so it is a little bigger. You've probably noticed it is a different shape. So this is a drop motor or L body, which is just a nicely balanced all-rounder kind of shape. This one does have the anti-rotation system, so that's your kickback control style thing in case it binds up. But other than that, it's got all the same features. Vibration dampening handle, 3-mode, nice chuck, nice wobbly handle up the front. Now I don't actually have a nickname for this guy, but given the shape, maybe something Minion related. Let us know in the comments. Alright, so let's look at the specs. So here we have our two here in bold. DCH263 is around $395 dues, and the 333 is almost double that, $785 Australian dollars. Weight 2.7 kilos versus 3.9, big weight difference, or about 6 pounds, versus 8.6 pounds. Capacity 28 millimeters, or about 1.1 inch, versus 30 millimeters, or about 1.3 inches. Impact energy 3 joules versus 3.5. Impacts per minute 4,300 versus 4,480. And so the impact power, we're looking at about 12,900 versus 15,680. And that is about the highest impact power we have on the chart to date. So I reckon she's going to be drilling pretty damn fast. And RPM 1,165 versus 1,000. Now DeWalt does make a few other hammers in this same body, so let's go check them out first. So here we've got the 20 volt version of the 333, the DCH293. So this one has the same impact, same specs, it's just 20 volts instead of 60 volts. This one does not seem to be available in Australia, and it's going to cost me something like $1,200. So if you want to see me test that one, my Patreon is in the description. And strangely enough, the 293 is not available in Australia. Instead, we have the 283. So for some reason, this is a slightly down-spec'd version, 2.8 joules instead of 3.5. And they rate that to 26 millimeters or 1 inch instead of 1.1 inches. And frustratingly, they only sell it as this kit. So once again, going to cost me about $1,000 if I want to get my hands on this guy. All right, so let's get drilling. Our first speed test is going to be 12 by 80 millimeters. About 1/2 inch by 3.5 inches, drilling into 32 MPa concrete. Let's see how they go. And personally I like running the power stack with this guy, but since DeWalt's got a bunch of different batteries, I'm also going to throw in the standard XR and the flex fault. Let's see how they go. Alrighty, for the 12mm speed drill, we've got a new bloody champion. Look at that, the 333, way up here in first place with 6.67 seconds, averaging up a few of those runs. Absolutely phenomenal performance. And then the big banana, the DCH263, we have 3 different batteries here. So the 6 amp hour flex volt battery actually gave us the best performance, 8.09 seconds. The power stack, 8.49 seconds, and the XR 5 amp hour, 8.74 seconds. So with the XR battery, she's basically the same speed at this size as the friend of the show, DCH283, the long boy. But we've seen that before in other tests, so no big surprises there. I was actually expecting the power stack to be the best out of these three battery conditions. There really isn't that much in it. I mean, 0.4 of a second, but, you know, flex fault, she did win. And if we want to see how that compares with the rest of the DeWalt family, well, we have the long boy here, DCH133. That's 26 millimeters, or 1 inch. Much further down, we got the DCH273, the chin. And then we got our tiny hammers, DCH172 and DCH072. So that's the little 12 volt. The ones we're testing today, they are big boys and they are hitting hard. So they are all up the front. And the next test is 26 millimeters, or just over an inch. Same depth, same concrete. Now normally this test is the maximum capacity they're rated for, but this series of drill bits doesn't go up to 30 millimeters, so we stop at 26. Still pretty big though, just over an inch. Let's do it. Alright, so with the 26 millimeter drill, we've got a bit of a change of fortunes. The bigger boys are towards the back. But no real surprises there. Drilling 26 millimeters is proportionally a lot harder than drilling, say, 16. But that said, they are performing very well at this size. The Minion is well ahead of most of these other drills doing 26 millimeter holes, 45.27. While the Big Banana, 51.92, again, towards the front of the pack that drilled that big 1 inch hole. And our final test today is chipping. If you're getting a big hammer like one of these guys, chances are you're going to be chipping something. So I just stick a 20 millimeter chisel in there and then see how fast they can knock off 50 millimeters or 2 inches off a concrete block. And for that chipping test, pretty big spread in the numbers as we often get with this test, but it's pretty obvious that the Minion is hitting harder than the Big Banana. 0.87 seconds versus 1.55. Alright, well there you go, hammerheads. DeWalt has done, once again, a very nice job with this particular hammer. I really do like this one. It is super light, it's got big impact, it's nice and powerful, and pretty cheap too. She is a real winner, and for the price, probably the overall best hammer on the market, I reckon. If you're looking for a nice all-rounder that's actually really comfy to use as well, and can basically do anything that an SDS Plus wants to do, DCH263 is a really good option for you. Now with this guy, I really was expecting it to do a fair bit better than the Big Banana. And look, it did do really, really well, but I guess I expected maybe 20% faster on that big 1 inch drill we did instead of the 12% it was. That said, she obviously dominated the hell out of the other one in the chipping. So if you're after a hammer that's going to do a lot of chipping for you, or just, you know, drill really big holes in general, this guy is a really good option. Now, as for the other hammers that are in this body, the DCH283 and 293, I don't own them, I haven't tried them, but I'm confident to say they are not going to be as good as this guy. And here in Australia, this one is cheaper than either of those. So I would not bother with those ones at all. I'd go straight for the 333. And I don't really reckon there's much more to say about these guys other than, hell yeah, DeWalt, nicely done. Now this is getting to the bigger end of the SDS Plus capacity. So I do have a few of these guys now. I am going to be testing them all together at some point. So, you know, hit us up with some ideas. And yes, buying these big hammers is very expensive and I am a one-man operation. So like and subscribe, that'll really help me out. Or even better, hit me up in the Patreon down below because, oh God, these things are not cheap. So anyway, from the Big Banana and the Minion. Am I going with Minion? Yeah, I think I'm going with Minion. It's starting to stick. Thanks for watching and I'll scratch yous later.